Law School and a professor of LL.M program also. And today we are supposed to have non-Japanese speaking participants, so we are obliged to speak both in Japanese and English. おはようございます。ということでですね、今日は日本人が大多数かもしれませんが、LL.Mということで、日本語ができなくても、入学できるプログラムの説明が入るので、一応英語と日本語両方で、説明すると。で今日仮に日本人ばっかりだとしても、by the way, is there anybody who don't understand Japanese here in this room? No. You. Okay. So naturally you have a right to ask us to speak something always in English, both Japanese, but not only in Japanese, but also in English. Well, I have to check. Do you have 5 items? The official pamphlet, application guidebook, and then LL.M explanation. What's that? FAQ, right? And they are blue sheet or green sheet. Then a case that later the sample course will use, and then Anybody has 皆さん資料は大丈夫ですか? So, and another thing is that we have the video presentation coming from here, going from here to Osaka, and they have a special room reserved for that. And I don't know how many people are there, but for the moment maybe nobody. But anyway, for that purpose we are taking video from there, and that is the way we do today. 大阪キャンパスでもですね、一応この、説明会が聞けるようにですね、ビデオのセットをしております。でですね、そういうことで、Is there anybody in Osaka? Apparently no. Well, okay. Anyway. And then, so today's schedule is to, first of all, the explanation by the responsible person of the program, Yamamoto Hajime, and then the global explanation of what our LL.M at Keio is by David, followed by the admission procedure explained by our colleague Watai, and then questions and answers. And after a short break, we will have a mock class led by our colleague David there. So that is our schedule. 今日はですね、プログラムとしては最初に、全体的な説明、申しますか、イントロダクション挨拶、責任者としての挨拶がですね、山本氏から、出されまして、その後、リット氏によるですね、プログラム説明、それから有志手続きについて私、それから質疑を、でその後に少し、休憩を挟みまして、模擬授業ということをやることになっております。So, I would like to present to you our vice lead, but the responsible professor of our LL.M program, Yamamoto Hajime.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Keio University Law School. My name is Hajime Yamamoto. I serve as the Vice Dean of Keio University Law School and Director of the LL.M program in Global Legal Practice. My research and teaching focus on constitutional. Thank you for coming to this information session. どうもおはようございます。私慶應義塾大学法務研究学院長でグローバル法務専攻山本はじめと申します。I present LL.M program both in Japanese and English. ちょっと日本語の方でですね、最初に説明させていただきますけれども、この慶応ロースクールですね、慶応大学法務研究科は、2004年の開設以来、小試験で高い合格率を上げて、法曹界に非常に多くの優位な人材を送り り出してきました。でこの度ですね、いよいよ本格的にグローバルフィールドで活躍するグローバルコースを養成するために、今年の4月に日本版 LL.M、 すなわち英語を主要言語として原則1年、もちろん1年半や2年でもできるパートタイムのコースもありますけれども、学位を取得することのできるグローバルホーム専攻の専門職大学院を開設いたしました。完全セメスターで4月入学と9月入学が可能です。実際、今年の4月にまず10人のですね、学生さんが入学しました。中国、フランスですね、いろいろな国々、シンガポール、タイ、ケニアですね、いろいろな国々から入学者が集まっています。ここで本当にごく簡単にご紹介いたしますけれども、コンセプトとしては30人の少人数教育で、半数が日本人、半数が留学生、こういった構成で行うというふうに考えています。で教員もですね、日本で活躍するアメリカ人弁護士や、障害法部の第一線で活躍する日本人の弁護士など実務家教員を中心に、構成されています。それから、英語で、授業をやるわけですけれども、日本やアジアの法制度を英語で学ぶということもできますし、それから最先端のグローバルビジネスフォームとしては、ドラフティングや交渉や仲裁などの実務トレーニングなどがあります。それから目玉としてはですね、2つあります。1つはダブルディグリーということで、慶応に4月から入って、秋から、シアトルにあるワシントン大学の LL.M の方に入りですね、1年で、トータル1年でですね、2つの学位を取れるというダブルディグリーのコース。それから、単位互換制度を利用してですね、最初の半年は、日本、それからその後アメリカ、ヨーロッパ、アジアのパートナーの提携しているロースクールに行って単位を取ってですね、合わせて30単位を取って慶応の学位を取るというやり方も可能です。こういうふうにですね、いろいろなニーズに応えることのできる LL.M というのを私たちは作りましたので、ぜひ皆さん入学をですね、考えていただきたいと思います。またこの後お話は、我々のネイティブ教員であるデビッド・リット教授の方からですね、英語を中心に内容等についてご説明あると思いますけれども、私の方はこのぐらいにさせていただきたいと思います。Now I present a little bit about the LL.M program in English. Our application to the Ministry of Education to launch a new Master of Laws program was approved on August 31st of 2016. We launched the program just from April 2017. The new program permits a selected number of students to obtain LL.M degree in 1 year, with instruction entirely in English and the first of its kind offered at the law school in Japan. KLS also has an existing judicial doctor program. Our LL.M program welcomed 10 students in April from China, Singapore, Thailand, Kenya, France, and Japan. We had already admitted an additional 10 students from various countries, including China and Korea, many of whom we expect to join for term starting late September. In addition, we are going to welcome at least 10 more students for fall term 2017 who will be selected in June based on application submitted by a deadline of May 19. The LL.M program welcomes several different categories of students, including lawyers who aspire to work globally, legal staff of global corporations and international institutions, Japanese lawyers and law school graduates who wish to improve their practice skills using English, international students who are interested in Japanese and Asian laws who want to work in Tokyo, and university law graduates who wish to work in international institutions in the future. KLS recently entered a double degree arrangement with University of Washington School of Law, located in Seattle, State of Washington. The arrangement allows the participant students to earn one of several 7 different legal LL.M programs from UW, in addition to their degree from Keio, as part of a single integrated course of study. Also, we offer exchange arrangements so that students can complete the LL.M program by earning at least half of their credit at Keio and up to the other half of one of our partner institutions located in US, Europe, and Asian countries, and using credit transfer system. Thank you for attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Then comes David Late, who will explain you about our LL program. Please.
I think I will speak only in English, but I can, well, ほとんどは英語で喋りますけど、日本語で質問して結構です。でも、英語主流のプログラムですから、英語でしか教えてませんし、この説明会も英語で基本的に自分の分を進めたいと思います。So I'll speak primarily in English, since, as I said, this is an English language program. All of the instruction of the classes is in English, so I'm trying, even in when I can, to use English with students. This program, and you all have, I think, if you've got the full set of materials, there's a lot of detail in here. There's also a lot of detail on the website. Here we have a list of courses. If you go to the website, you can actually see the syllabus for the course with a more detailed description. And I think all of the detail, you can download the same application packet, all of that's on the website. So I don't need to give you every detail in this discussion. I just want to give you an outline of the program. The purpose of the program for all the students is to improve your skills and your knowledge and your ability to function as a legal professional doing international or global matters. So that's the core purpose. The program is not aimed at getting a specific credential or admission to a bar. Some people who come to the program will already be lawyers. We have Bengoshi in the program. We have lawyers from Kenya and Thailand and other places in the program already. In the fall, I think we will have, hopefully, in addition to the students from China and Korea, who Professor Yamamoto mentioned, I know we have admitted a lawyer from the US, a lawyer from Brazil. I know we have a lawyer who's from Hong Kong, but is working with one of the major American firms who is going to apply. So there are some lawyers. There are other people who are working in Honolulu, working in the legal department of a company, or want to work in a legal department of a company. There are also, so there are those groups of people. And then there are also some people who will just be graduating from university with a law background and would like to get a master's degree, primarily because they have an interest in working in international institutions. And many of those institutions related to the United Nations or one of the regional development banks do not hire people unless they have at least a master's degree. So we have some students who are looking at that as a reason to do the program. I think this is an interesting program because we have so many different types of students. There are some LL.M programs in Tokyo. There's a US law school that has an LL.M program in Tokyo that is entirely Japanese students taking the classes at night. They're not really bringing students from around the world to take that. There is an LL.M program at one of the universities that's, again, also at night, that's mostly in Japanese, but it's an international business LL.M, but it's a Japanese language course. We are trying to do something that's a little bit closer to the LL.M program that you would actually get if you went to, you know, Columbia or Harvard or USC or University of Washington. In that we want to have a mix of students in the class together. And we're trying to do that for people here in Tokyo at a lower cost and at something that's easier and more accessible to people. To do that, we think it's very important that if we had a class that's full of Japanese students with our Japanese faculty teaching about you know, Japanese international business transactions in English, that doesn't quite achieve the result. So we want to make this program a truly international program. We think it is important that we have half of the students be from around the globe. We also think it is important, we have many exchange students who come to Keio every year. Usually in this term I think we have 10, in the fall we had 15. In the fall we had students from Harvard, Georgetown, Cornell, Sciences Po in France, Yonsei University in Korea, Singapore Management University, many of the top universities in the world that are our partner universities. And students who are in the JD course will come to Keio for a semester, some of them for a year, and will be in the same classes with the LL.M students. So we think that also helps to make it a more international program. Other things that we're doing, particularly for the Japanese students, is to sponsor the exchange opportunities and the double degree opportunities that Professor Yamamoto mentioned. We have exchange opportunities, again, with universities in Europe, in Australia, and in the United States, as well as in Singapore and other places in Asia, to go for a semester. So if you're in the Keio LL.M program, you could go spend a semester at, you know, potentially Georgetown or Cornell or Sciences Po, and just if you pay the Keio tuition, you don't have to pay the Georgetown tuition, but you can go study there for a semester and bring those credits back to Keio and include them in your LL.M program. So we think that that helps, again, to make it, you know, closer to the actual experience you would get if you went and studied at an LL.M program outside Japan. For the international students coming in, we've made a special effort to arrange internships. We think many of the international students who come here to study at Keio, some of them specifically want to study Japanese law, but many of them have an interest in working in Tokyo and are looking at spending a year at Keio as a way to start to build a network in Japan, to figure out whether there are employment opportunities for them in Japan. Things that you know, Japanese students already have, most of you. If you're here, you went to a Japanese university, you understand the employment market, you understand what skills you need, where you might want to go to work. But the foreign students would often want to use the year here to build a network. I mean, we have some foreign lawyers who want to build a network of relationships in the legal community in Japan, so that when they go back to their country, they can have business with Japan. They can have Japanese clients, Japanese co-counsel, who are looking at the year here and an internship as a way to build their practice back in their home country. Let's see. I think I've covered, I'm not very good at talking off a script. I'm sorry, I'm talking what comes to my mind. So I have to look and see whether I've covered the things that I wanted to cover. Specialization is one topic. If you look at the course descriptions, you'll see we've divided the courses into a number of areas. Let's see. We have Japanese law and Asian law classes. We have a lot of what we call global business and law. This is maybe the core for people who want to be business lawyers, who work in a corporate legal department, of what you would study. We have an area called global security and law for people who are more interested in public international law. Maybe the people who want to go work at an international institution would take more of that. We have an area we call innovations and intellectual property law, where we have, I think, 5 classes on intellectual property law. We have area studies. These are mostly classes, this is area 5, on different areas of law from Asia, where we will have professors coming in. To teach Singapore law, we'll have Gary Lowe, who's a professor at Singapore Management University. To teach Chinese law, we'll have Professor Han, who's a very famous and wonderful scholar from Tsinghua University in Beijing, for example. We will do that. Southeast Asia is taught by one of our professors, Professor Matsuo. But Professor Matsuo also has set up an arrangement where we will have many students coming in and going to Southeast Asia over the next 5 years, to Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand. We already have our first inbound student from Vietnam, and I think she's the best student in my class that she's in. He agrees, yes. She's in a class that we both teach. So there are, some really strong students from those countries. And we also had an opportunity for Keio students to go over, I think in March, where a group of Keio students went and spent a week at a law school in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam and another week in Cambodia.
With a scholarship, right?
Yes, with scholarship, with support from the university, so they didn't have to pay for it. We had we're doing things like that. We're trying to get our students outside of Japan, as well as to do the program here. So that's area studies. Comparative law, I teach a bunch of classes that are comparative law. Some of them might be in the business law category. And then current legal issues is kind of a catch-all that we can put all sorts of interesting things in. I would draw your attention, we have some writing classes, category 8, including every student who wants to can do a research paper. There is no master's thesis requirement for the LL.M program, which is the same, I think, if you would go to an LL.M in Australia or the United States, that there probably wouldn't be a specific thesis requirement. You may have to do papers for some of your classes, certainly, but you wouldn't need to do a master's thesis. But you can do a research paper, particularly students who are interested in law not only as a business, but potentially as something they would want to go on and do more study of or eventually teach, we would strongly recommend that you do a research paper. That's the end of the first period. Has nothing to do with us. If you come here, you'll get to know that bell sound. You'll hear it in your sleep. And then category 9. Everyone is going to be required to take some classes from category 9 because, as I said at the beginning, really the point of this program is to improve your skills to function in an international environment. You know, the best way to do that is not to sit in a classroom and certainly not have a lecture, but even have a discussion, but to actually, you know, need to perform as a lawyer, to actually do drafting and negotiation, to actually do a mock arbitration, or do a moot court. We have 2 choices for moot court in each term, so that people will get a chance to do that. And then the internships that I mentioned. So that's a basic explanation of the program. We do have in your packet, I think we have the actual time schedule that you come running. So you can see the way the classes are you know, allocated throughout the week. As you can see, we've tried to spread them evenly so that they don't overlap with each other, so that you're not forced to choose between many classes just because of one being, you know, 3 of them being at the same time. But you'll also see that we have a fair number of classes, 6th period, which is from 6:10 to 7:40 p.m., or in some cases until 8:10 p.m. These classes are intended for a couple reasons. First, we have many leading practitioners in Tokyo who come in to teach. And it's generally easier for practitioners to come in and teach a class if they get here at 6 p.m. than to come in the middle of the afternoon. We don't want them to be canceling classes because they have a meeting that doesn't finish at 2 p.m. when they need to be here for a 2:45 class. So we have many of the practitioners who come in the 6th period. Also, we want to make it possible, if people want to do the program on a part-time basis, that they could think about doing it with classes in the evening, or with classes in the morning. My personal view is it all depends on your employer. It's pretty tough in Tokyo, I know, just because of the distances between where people live and where they work and Keio. It's pretty tough to do a program like this part-time, but it's possible if you have a cooperative employer who's willing to work with you on your schedule. Or if you could work an arrangement where you could take one day. I mean, as you can see in the fall term, if you came in on Thursday, you could take, you know, basically all your classes on one day. It would be exhausting, but it would be possible to do. Or on Tuesday, you could do the same thing, basically take almost a full load. Why don't I stop, and we will have time for questions at the end.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, nothing has been explained substantially in Japanese, but it should be the rule anyway in our LL program, so we have to be accustomed with that custom or with the rule. Well, then comes our colleague, Watai, Professor Watai, who will explain you about the admission procedures.